Let's talk about IGN. If you guys are unaware, IGN is imploding little by little, just like every other journalist website. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. This one is a big one, okay? This one is a big one. So IGN just recently, as of today, 9 hours ago, was announced IGN lost one of their longest running journalists that was, for the most part, politically fairly neutral, right? For the most part. He had his moments, but he was fairly neutral, and I liked a lot of his stuff. He was one of the few gaming journalists out there that I actually thought was pretty decent. So who do they lose? They lost Destin. If you guys don't know who Destin is, let me pull up his YouTube channel so you can get an idea of who he is. This is Destin right here. I've done videos on Destin before. I've reacted to some of his stuff, and he has officially left IGN after 13 years. 13 years of working with IGN. So this is a big one, right? This is pretty huge, and this is a pretty bad loss for IGN because IGN, like other gaming journalists, have been losing journalists left and right. You guys know that. Whether by choice or whether by not choice, they've been losing journalists left and right. So the fact that Destin left IGN on his own accord, he didn't get fired, not to my knowledge. He didn't get fired. He left on his own accord. This is a pretty big blow to them. This is a pretty big blow. He has a pretty decent sized YouTube channel. I think it's like 120, 130 some odd thousand subscribers. So not small. And he had a pretty decent voice in terms of his influence in the mainstream gaming industry. And now he's decided to leave IGN. And you guys are probably wondering, well, where he's going? Where is he going? He's not going anywhere. He's opening up his own platform. So let's watch this video. And let's see what he's got to say. It's only 4 minutes long. It's not going to be that long. Here we go.
Years at IGN. After 13 years at IGN, I quit my dream job. IGN was an unforgettable experience I will always cherish. I got to see the world, make friends.
Oh, wait, go back. Go back.
Unforgettable experience I will always cherish. I got to.
Damn, bro. Damn, bro. Look at all them white people. White. You got one black guy in the back. You got one black girl on the right side here, but it's a sea of white. Damn, and IGN is the one that is like, oh, we need more diversity. Shut the fuck up, bro. We need more diversity, says IGN. Come on, man. Come on. All right, I see a Mexican in there. Oh, okay, there was a black guy hiding in there. I couldn't see that. My bad. But this looks fairly white. You got one redhead who's probably not even a natural redhead. Let's be real. You got an Asian or two in the background. I'm just saying, if you guys are the ones preaching about diversity, you probably shouldn't be mostly white, but, you know, that's neither here nor there.
To see the world, make friends, and build a body of work I'm proud of. With nearly 1 billion...
You're right. Maybe it was 10 years ago. Who knows? But I still think it's pretty funny.
...views generated for the IGN brand, though, it's time to bet on myself. Starting today, I'm building my own independent contribution to the video game industry focused on meaningful conversations, asking tough questions, and doing my best to find and report the truth.
Really quick, I want you guys to notice something, because I know I noticed something, okay? But I want you guys to notice something. So have you noticed that a lot of the journalists that have been with these companies for a long time, because IGN also lost someone else and a few other people also. I forgot her name, but the woman who left to go run her own podcast. If you notice, a lot of these people who have been in the business for a long time, they're leaving their websites to become independent content creators themselves. Do you notice that? I don't know if the Gamergate thing has influenced them to make them believe that they can do it on their own. I'm not really sure, but a lot of them have left, or after they got fired or whatever, they've all left to go do their own podcast. Kat Bailey. Yes, that's her name. Thank you, Drake. Kat Bailey. They've all left to do their own podcasts. They have their own Patreons. They have their own Substacks, whatever. They're all leaving the mainstream establishment and they're doing their own things by themselves, which, you know, ultimately, I think that's an okay thing. I think that's good. I always advocate for people to do their own thing. But I just noticed it more this year, or last year, I should say, more than ever. I noticed it way more that they were all quitting or getting fired and becoming content creators overnight. Even Alyssa Mercante is trying to pretend to be a content creator. So that just goes to show. And it looks like he is also doing it as well. But the good thing is that he actually has a platform. He has a platform that he could be successful on if he continues to do the right thing. So it looks like they're all going the YouTuber route. And I don't know if Gamergate 2.0 influenced that, because obviously there was a lot of YouTubers that grew from Gamergate 2.0, and they probably realized that. But it also allows them more freedom. It allows them more opportunity to do what they want to do. But the question is, okay, with all that freedom and the ability to do what you want to do, are you going to repeat the issues of the past, or are you going to be honest about your content? I think Destin will be most likely honest. I think he has proven that over time, but you never know, especially if his platform becomes successful, because he mentions Access Media in this video. Let's just watch it. Here, come on.
When I started covering games in 2007, I promised myself I'd ask the important questions, explore overlooked angles, and shine a light on topics that needed attention. I also vowed to use any influence I gained to advocate for you, the player. That's what games media should do. Advocate and ask questions on your behalf. That's what I did at IGN, and it's what I'll keep doing. Yes, I will still tell terrible jokes from time to time, though. I'm sorry. Look, when Danny O'Dwyer launched the
if he tells dad jokes, I'm going to ban him from SNH.
amazing no clip in 2016, he said gamers deserve media that reflects their passions. My thought is that gamers deserve media that represent them. And my goal is to help bring us closer to making that a reality. So here's my pitch. I'm starting a Patreon. If you enjoyed my interviews, coverage, and commentary, this is your chance to get even more. Early access to content.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So they're all doing the same exact thing. They all have the same exact kind of layout with their Patreons. They all have that. And ultimately what he's trying to do is create his own platform where he can make enough money to go and live and also do his own content without having to be reliant on IGN. That's basically what he's doing. And the amount of journalists that have left IGN over the last few months, this is going to be detrimental to IGN. Them losing Destin, losing Cat Bailey was already bad. And losing all the people that left with Cat Bailey was already bad. Now you're going to lose Destin on top of that too? Yeah, no, this is going to be bad.
Content, behind the scenes insights, and an opportunity to shape the discussions held by submitting questions for upcoming.
Jesus, everybody's got a fucking Patreon. I'm like one of the only people that doesn't have a Patreon. I just feel like I have nothing to offer on Patreon. I feel like I want to just keep my shows entertaining, and that's it. Informative and entertaining. That's all I really care about. Everybody always goes to Patreon. I guess it must be good. I don't know.
Guess with your help, I can do this independently while continuing to advocate for you. And I think of each video like a save state in a game. That's why I'm calling it Save State Plus, a captured moment we can reflect on to better inform where we are going. Speaking of what's ahead, Phil Spencer was one of the first to accept a one-on-one conversation to discuss his corner of the industry.
I find it interesting. I find it interesting that they must not, and I'm not saying this to be like downplaying. I never downplay anybody's money. But they must not be making a lot of money over at these journalist websites if you can survive on like a fairly small Patreon like that. That it must not take much for you to match your salary, which is probably a good thing, because then you can become an independent content creator to get freedom. And I've always been of the mindset, even if I make less money, I would rather make less money and work for myself than make more money and work for someone else. That's always how I've been. And I feel like IGN should be one of the higher paying journalists websites. No, like maybe. Because IGN is one of the top websites in terms of gaming journalism. It's where everybody tries to go, right? Like Kotaku, people who work at Kotaku, they want to go to IGN. And I always assumed it was because it paid more. But I mean, at the end of the day, good for him. If he can match his salary or get close to it, with just his Patreon and then his YouTube channel, that's great. And then he can do what he's got to do, and hopefully he remains honest, and he does what he actually says he's going to do, which is ask the hard questions. Because every time these journalists say, oh, I'm going to ask the hard questions. They never ask the hard questions. You guys notice that? They never ask the hard questions. They always just pretend to ask the hard questions. And then when it comes time to asking the question, they're like, so, yeah, let's talk about this game. It's like, bro, just, I'm not telling you to beat the guy up, but like, are you going to ask what you said you're going to ask or no? But anyway, let's hear him out.
Industry as the head of Xbox. We'll be chatting in the near future. And even if I get a no comment, you know I'm going to ask about the Xbox handheld, what their next gen hardware looks like, and the tumultuous state of the industry, as well as other questions you want answered. The interview will be available first on Patreon and shortly after on YouTube. Phil Spencer has always been open in our chats.
Oh, so his first interview is going to be with Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. Okay. All right.
And I'm excited to speak with him again. Beyond interviews, I want to build a brand that celebrates great games and tells their stories while being honest when the mark is missed.
See, this is where I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. I'm fucking weird, I guess. This is why, and I get the business model. I totally get the business model. I get it. And for somebody like him who has mainstream access, I get it. I understand. But I just never understood paywalling content. You know what I mean? Like at one point in time, I had put my streams behind membership walls, but I didn't do it for money. I did it because I thought it was better for the algorithm to have them be privated videos. So that way they don't affect my main videos algorithm. But over time, I realized that that's not true. And then I removed them from the paywall. And I've always had them for free on Rumble anyway. So if somebody didn't want to pay a membership on YouTube, those streams were available for free on Rumble anyway. Right. So it's like, but then I ended up taking it away anyway. I just never understood the point of paywalling content and keeping most of your supporters away from it. And I think this is why a lot of these people who come from the mainstream industry, I think a lot of them fail as content creators because they're too busy paywalling the content to try to maximize profit instead of trying to maximize the growth of their channels. Because when you paywall content, you kind of diminish the growth of your channel. You only really get away with paywalling content if you are so huge that it doesn't matter. Like if you're a Moist Critical or something like that. But ultimately, if you paywall the content, you're really not, like, you're hindering the growth of your channel big time. You really are. That's what I've seen anyway. You are, it's I don't want to call it greed. I just want to I know they're doing it from a strategic point of view. It just doesn't work out usually for 95% of the people. For 95% of the people who do it that way. It just doesn't work out that way. I rather focus on maximizing the growth of my channel and put all my content out there for free. And the people who want to support it will support it. And the people who don't want to monetarily support it, they could find another way to support it. They could like the video. They could like the stream. They could share the stream. They could comment on the video. They could do whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to do it. But the growth of your channel should be the number one forefront of anything, in my opinion. Which, again, that's why I put everything out there for free. And if people support, great. If not, well, that's just what it is. That's kind of the name of the game. You know, most people use fucking ad blockers, so I don't even get ad revenue half the time. It doesn't matter. As long as the channel keeps growing, it is what it is. Anyway, I was just going on a rant because I don't understand the paywall stuff, and I don't understand the focus on Patreon. And again, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird. I get that. I just never been like that.
I've visited studios, talked with creators, and analyzed games through objective testing and subjective commentary. Sometimes it's a celebration. Sometimes it's
shout out to Cassie.
But honestly,
Cole Classic Cage in the chat. Big Booty Latina. Everybody say hi. Okay.
Matters, and access should never influence coverage. That's what I hope to achieve with your support. I'll never let my critique be silenced by a brand, and I won't start now. Games coverage is shifting, how we talk about them, how news is reported, and how players respond. My hope is to build a more balanced, objective voice and have fun while doing it. I know it sounds crazy, almost as crazy as getting hundreds of games with Xbox Game Pass. Okay, last time I make that joke, I promise.
Was that oh man, that didn't sound like a joke. You know what that sounded like? An ad reel. That sounded like an ad reel. That didn't sound like a joke, my guy. That sounded like, since your first interview is going to be Phil Spencer, he probably told you to mention Game Pass in your announcement video. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, man. It is what it is.
To give you a platform, my Patreon will include forms for submitting questions to guests. Patrons get priority. but I'll also have avenues on YouTube for submissions.
Exactly. Yoda says sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Exactly. That's exactly what that felt like for a second.
I'll host monthly Q&As where you can call or write in to share perspectives, discuss topics, or debate with me directly. So to recap.
Oh, I'll definitely call in. I will definitely call in at some point in time, maybe in the future. We'll see.
My goals are have more thoughtful conversations with the people building the games industry, share my personal opinions, and also previews and reviews, deliver objective insights through testing and analysis, combine these approaches to discuss news and create features about the games we love or don't. More importantly, provide a voice that asks the questions you want answered and seek the truth.
Dude, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm loving the shift. The shift in the gaming industry is just a beautiful thing. It really is. It is great to see the shift happening where people are doing their own thing, which is great. I'm always for that. Journalists are leaving their establishments and becoming their own entity, and whether or not they succeed or fail is going to be up to them, which is great. But I love the shift, man. We are seeing before our eyes mainstream gaming journalism die, and we are seeing the rise of independent gaming journalism, which I think is going to bring us into the next few years of content where people like Destin, if he does what he says he's going to do, I think it's going to be great. And if you have a couple of more people like Destin doing that kind of work, I think that's going to be great. I really do. I think that's going to be great. Whether or not he sticks to it or not, that's totally different. I don't know. But I think the shift is slowly happening. Yeah, no, I'm not getting comfortable, Farscape. I'm just saying I'm noticing the shift happen little by little between gaming journalism, developers, everything. I'm just seeing the shift little by little, very slowly, but it is absolutely happening. And little moments like this are when we start to notice it, right? Like the Destins leaving major establishments like IGN, even Kat Bailey leaving IGN. I think that was huge too, even though she's doing her own little podcast or whatever. Ultimately, I think it's all good. The ecosystem is going to be a lot more free flowing. And I think it's going to be a lot more interesting of an ecosystem out there of content creation and overall voices in the gaming industry. I think it's going to be good. No echo chambers. Fuck it. The developers will still be in an echo chamber, but we got to work on that.
This week, I have an interview scheduled with my friend, Kind of Funny co-founder, Greg Miller.
Oh, never mind. You're friends with Greg Miller. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get the fuck out. Friends with Greg Miller.
Following Pokemon, I think everyone would say,
shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt.
Oh, man. Fucking A. Greg Miller. Oh, you fucked it up, Destin. I was with you for 3 minutes and 48 seconds. On 3 minutes and 49, you fucked it up. You showed the face of the devil. Somebody who loves transing kids. Yeah, no. You kind of lost me there. But you know what? Listen, I'm not going to do the guilt by association thing. I'm not going to do the guilt by association thing. I'm just going to let it rock. I'm going to let it rock and let you prove your own words because you are independent now. You are not part of IGN. You are not part of. I'm going to let you rock.
More interviews lined up with friends and industry leaders.
But I'm going to keep a very close eye. I'm going to put it to you like that. I'm going to keep a very close eye because now that I know that you're friends with someone like Miller, somebody who openly advocates for transing kids, I don't know.
Shaping the space, which I'll reveal at a later date. Walking away from a dream job means I'm doing this on my own, but with your help, I can turn this dream into a thriving platform for thoughtful conversations, honest analysis, and meaningful insights. Visit patreon.com/SaveStatePlus to help me build it. With your support, I can grow, hire, expand, and create something truly special.
You see, I don't know, man. My thing is like, you have a platform. And there's ways to utilize the platform that you have. But you're so focused on this Patreon, it almost gives me like Second Wind vibes, where they want everybody to focus on the Patreon, so that they can have consistent money coming in every month, so that he can gauge what his salary is going to be. and then kind of go from there. But my thing is like, you're so focused on the Patreon, bro. It doesn't really sound like you're focused on building any platform. You want to build your Patreon, and then you want to build your platform afterwards. I don't understand that. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me, but I don't understand that. For me, it's like you should build the platform first and let the Patreon kind of grow on its own over time as your platform grows. But if you're so focused on growing the Patreon first and not your platform, then I just feel like you're setting yourself up for failure at this point. You really are. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're asking for money before you deliver the product, right? Maybe people will be more interested. Maybe people will be more interested in your Patreon after they see a couple of your videos from Save State Plus. Maybe they'll be more interested in supporting you monetarily after you earn their confidence with a couple of videos and whatnot. But as of right now, to focus so hard on the Patreon, I don't know, man. You're kind of relying on your clout from working at IGN to bolster yourself as an independent content creator. But as of right now, you're in a totally different game. You're in a totally different world, and you have to earn people's respect. You have to earn not only people's trust, but people go to you not just for knowledge and information, but they go to you for entertainment too. So hopefully you can provide that. And I mean, I don't know. I just think it's weird. I really do. I really think it's fucking weird to focus on Patreon first. I really do. He's not the first person I've told this to. I've told this to so many people who ask me for advice on content creation, and they're like, hey, should I open a Patreon? It's like, bro, focus on your platform. Like, focus on that first, and then worry about the Patreon after. And then what people don't even realize is that the more you focus on money outside of YouTube, the less that your YouTube is going to grow, because YouTube takes into account how much money your channel pulls in, and they determine, how far you go out in recommendations based in your little circle of content creation. So the less money you're making on YouTube, it's like it's a give and take situation. So if all that money's going to Patreon, you're not going to get promoted as much on YouTube. So now your platform's going to grow less and less and less, and it's going to stagnate. So you kind of have to, you got to find a balance here. But again, these people are not content creators, right? They are mainstream establishment that is trying to become content creators. So they don't exactly have the mindset of a content creator. They have the mindset of someone who has worked for another company.